Well, good morning, Brittany. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing really well.
Good. Thanks for fighting the traffic to get over here today.
It's okay. I mean, I think we're in California. No matter where you go, we're gonna hit traffic, so we're good.
No, it gets brutal sometimes. Well, I'm so glad you joined us. Brittany McElvain. I got the name right. Phew. I practiced it.
Only person who's ever got it right. McAlvin, McLean, but you got it perfect.
Awesome. New Palace Realty out in the Temecula area. You also have an office down in San Marcos.
Yes.
So that's super awesome. So today, as we talked a little bit about the purpose of this podcast, I call it the mindset of a champion, what sets you apart. And I'll add myself to that too, because as a lender, I'm always looking for, well, there's thousands of me. Why should someone use me in our company? And putting that back to you as well, we want to use this podcast to be able to send you referrals and say, hey, we have the perfect realtor for you. You're looking for your first home or another home or even to list a home. Brittany is your gal. She will take amazing care of you. In fact, take a look at this podcast. You'll see what actually sets her apart and why you can trust her and use her. So how does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit, Brittany. How did you get into the real estate business? Maybe how long you've been, working in that field as well?
Okay. So I got into the business. I worked in hospitality, and I had a group of realtors that would come in, and we, exchanged information. We were talking. We kind of grew up a little relationship, and we had this couple that told me, we love you. You're great. Get your license. We'll sponsor you. We'll take on your education and let us know. And so I thought about that, and I didn't really pay much attention to that. So I just kind of, life happened. I had small kids at the time, so I just kind of kept going, and then some things happen, life changes, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to circle back. And I couldn't find the couple who it was, but I was like, that's an idea. I liked it, and I just kind of went from there.
Wow. So how long ago approximately was that when you got your start?
When I first started, probably 3 years ago.
Okay. Well, that's not an easy time period to start real estate. Right during, we had this thing called a pandemic in 2020, yes. Right?
Right.
Changed a lot of lives. It changed the world, actually. And, a lot of people lost their businesses. A lot of friends that we know lost their businesses. It was a really tough time. And then all of a sudden we go into this refi boom. Like the rates dropped into the twos, right? It was unheard of. People were like, "Whoa, it's time to buy. It's crazy." And then what happened? The rates took off and skyrocketed. That impacted a lot of people's businesses. And here you came right into real estate during that time.
And I'm thinking, hey, this is a bad time. Let's go. Let's do it. And I think something about my personality, and it's why I've achieved things. And maybe it might sound silly or counterintuitive, but it's when I'm so naive about things in a way, and it's like, it can't be that hard. Or you know what? I just jump in and do it. And I think that is to save me, because there are things that I don't like. I maybe wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't want to do if I knew how difficult it was or how many challenges I would have faced. So I think that's one of the things that I don't want to say motivates me, but gets me going is like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. It can't be that hard, right? We think, and then it just, I don't know, it just kind of happens.
Well, that's the mindset of a champion. A champion says, if anybody else can do it, I certainly should be able to do it. I just got to get in, roll up my sleeves, and work. And I think, Brittany, today, a lot of people, they shy away from hard work and grinding it out and in the trenches. And it seems like this generation of people especially wants everything handed to them.
Okay.
It's got to be easy. Otherwise, I'm going to go find something else that is. And you know what happened back during that time when the interest rates went up? A lot of people left the market, said, ooh, I'll wait. They went back and sitting on the fence, which is uncomfortable to sit on any fence, but they stayed out of the market. Applications dried up. A lot of people in my business, in the mortgage business, whole shops closed up, shut their doors. They they left the business. They weren't willing to get out there and work with their realtor partners, the ones that really wanted to keep going. Get out knocking on doors. Go back to,
Oh, yeah.
the basics. Help market and things like that. And those of us that did, we're all still here. The other ones have other jobs, and they're, So I don't know how that impacted you during challenging financial times, but you just kept going, huh?
Yeah, and I think you have to. You have to pivot. You can't just, if what you're doing is not working, and life changes, your atmosphere, climate, everything changes. You have to, what does Bruce Lee say? Be like water.
Yeah.
Change with it. You can't
Yeah.
just stick in a box. But you have to get uncomfortable and say, hey, I'm not used to this, so let's try it. I know a lot of my broker, a lot of my colleagues, they start door knocking, cold calling, and you have to, like you said, get back to your basics, because it's so easy to, when things are flowing, to be happy and comfortable and keep going. But when things hit the fan, and you have to look at yourself and say, okay, what could I do? Well, you have to just pivot and try to keep going with that.
Yeah. We found the same thing. It was what people say is, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. They don't leave, they get going, meaning they really roll up their sleeves. And when I hear the term, well, we got to get back to the basics, what comes to my mind first is, why did we ever leave the basics, right?
Yeah.
And it's because we do get comfortable. We're busy, we got deals coming in, we're helping families. And one of the first things we forget to keep doing is marketing. Keep marketing. Or in a lender's case, when all those refinances were going on, there were some of us, thankfully I did not, but there were some of my colleagues that are no longer in business, forgot about their realtor partners and the purchase business. They were so busy with refis, they forgot about them. And so what happens is, another lender comes by and says, hey, can I help you with something? They're like, well, yeah, I haven't heard from my lender in a year and a half.
Right.
Sure, you can help me. And I made sure that our team never was that lender. Purchase business is the focus. Refinance that's the gravy. Sure, we're happy to do that, but our focus is you. We want to help you and your business grow. So tell me a little bit about your brokerage. We were talking before how much you love it.
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you love it so much? Tell us about your broker and your shop there.
Okay, so I have, my brokers are Angie Henry and Jay Henry.
Angie and Jay, howdy.
They're amazing. They're very hands-on, very agent friendly. They work with us. If we say, hey, we need help with cold calls, okay, cool, let's have a cold call night. They get pizza, salad. They're doing it with us for Zoom. We had one in San Marcos, one in Temecula. We had a little Zoom going on. Very hands-on, always having events. We have our Monday morning meetings. I think it's really important to, especially for newer agents, to pick a team, a brokerage that has that kind of support, because it's almost make or break.
Overwhelming.
Very overwhelming. I didn't start with them, and it was very overwhelming my first year. When you don't know what you don't know, and so I had a couple deals come in, and I was like, it's a little overwhelming, but it was awesome. So I love them. We always have we have a rod run, and they're always doing events, 5K runs, so it's pretty cool.
So you support the community quite a bit too.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's fantastic. And that's, it sounds like it's a smaller, like, boutique
About
brokerage.
15 agents.
That's wonderful. And that's, what I find, and we have no disrespect to the larger agencies, the Caldwells and the Kellers and all of that. Great agencies. Keller has an amazing training program as well. But there's really something to be said about the boutique firms and brokerage shops. Many times they get better specialized attention,
Absolutely.
more support, the support you need. And that's how we are too here at iFinance Mortgage. We have about 25-ish loan officers and a small support staff to keep everything moving. And I'll tell you what, our broker Joe is incredible. He's always there to, no matter when, what time of the day, you have a special scenario, 11 o'clock at night. Joe, sorry to pull you away from your kids for a second, but I got a quick question. Yeah, what do you need? And that goes a long ways when you have that support behind you.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Not just my brokers, my colleagues, if, for whatever reason I can't get a hold of them, they're very hands-on, especially when I was first there. They would call me, hey, we have the system, whatever you need, almost everyone. And they're all very experienced, very successful, 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're just, it's amazing. I love my brokerage. So I'm very grateful that I found it.
I think you really hit on a key word. Look for ways to be grateful every single day. And it's like we're not even working. We're having fun helping families and people. It's not even work anymore. It's just something that we're grateful for. And I think knowing your why. Why do we do what we do? So for me, it's my why. It starts the night before. I think about my day. I think about my appointments and why I'm doing them. Why am I staying so busy and spending some time away from her doing this? It's because I want to put food on the table. It's because I want to keep her looking beautiful and in nice clothing and keep us healthy and things like that. That's my why. And then anything outside of taking care of her now expands to my immediate family and then our friends and whatever I have bandwidth I have left. But knowing your why and staying grateful for the business that we're in to be able to help more people, there's no better business.
No,
it's
I
fantastic.
Agree. I agree. I love this business. Not only, I guess my why would be my children, myself, and I think my family.
Yeah.
I love helping families. When we had a client that it took a little longer, and at that time, they don't express themselves enough. Some people, they're just getting frustrated, and that's our job to navigate that. And so, you don't really know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And it took a little longer. And at the end of the transaction, we closed, found a beautiful house for them. They loved it. And they were so excited and they were so grateful. And they're like, thank you so much for, I'm sorry if I was a pain and this and, and I wouldn't even think that she thought that, but because we just, you have to stay, we kind of go back to what we were talking about. You don't know what someone's thinking. You don't know what they're going through. And so just keeping them, our job is just keep them focused and educating them. And, it just, that's what makes it. I really love it.
Putting them at ease.
Yeah.
This process of home buying is frightening. It is frightening to a lot of people because, number one, they typically don't understand it the way we do. We live and breathe it. And then all the horror stories they hear about. Maybe they had a friend that had a nightmare experience, or they see things in the media. So when they meet us, maybe for the first time, they're looking to, first of all, can I trust this person? Mm-hmm. Once they can trust us, they don't care how much we know, right? Until they know how much we care. They don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. And that phrase my dad said it growing up all the time. So it's like burned into my brain, But it's so true. So, again, we're talking about the mindset of a champion. And all these things that you've mentioned really is showing me and our audience that will watch this that you have that champion mindset. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about, speaking about champion mindset, how does that affect your daily routine? When you have a winner, a champion type mindset, what types of things do you do during the day to win, to be successful?
So it kind of varies. I do have a schedule. I have children, so we wake up, take them to school, I come back. Depending on the day, if I have meetings, I always try to incorporate either cold calling. Going in the office, it helps. Mm-hmm. Going to your office, getting work done. I think we can work from home.
Yeah.
But can we? We can. Yeah, it's a possible. It's possible, but it helps to be in that environment.
Yeah.
So I try to stay. I try to go there a couple times a week. Stick to my cold calling, follow up, things like that. So that kind of helps me. I try to meditate, maybe 10 minutes.
Put yourself in a good space.
Yeah,
mentally.
and I try to do some physical activity just to get just to get all the nerves and stay healthy. So that's pretty much what I do.
That's great. And tell me a little bit about the communication. What sets you apart? So if I was to send you a client, what confidence could I have in you? I send you my wife, Jinmei, let's say. Jinmei, I want you to meet Brittany. She'll take care of you, looking for some homes in the Temecula area. She's fantastic. In fact, this is what sets her apart. Tell me a little bit about your communication and your speed of communication. Would you say that sets you apart?
Yeah, I answer my phone.
Ah, that resonates with
Yeah.
me. Good.
I try to answer my phone, and for whatever reason I can't, I follow up with a text message. Hey, sorry,
Good.
I'm in the middle of this, and try to get back as quickly, as efficiently, as considerately as possible. I have a client right now that I'm working with where they don't answer their phones, and I'm finding stuff, but they're very busy. They own three businesses, has three
Wow.
boys, in sports, and she told me, she's like, "You're never gonna bug me. Keep calling me. Sorry." She goes, "I'm gonna forget to text you back. I'm gonna forget to call you." She was like, "So if I can't
Just stay
answer,
on me."
stay on me." And I'm like, say less. And I'm very good with the follow up. I'm very good with calling back, circling back. I mean, we have cell phones are right here. Why not?
Most of us are always glued to it.
Yeah.
It's us. It's our business. It's our life. That's so good. And communication is the key. People want, when they need you, they want you now.
Right.
We live in an instant society. Instant messages, instant this, instant. If I call you, I want. There's a reason. I'm not just generally, "Hey, how's your day going?"
I'm having to sound bored. Yeah.
It's something important. So I really appreciate the fact that you mentioned that you answer your phone. Brittany, so many people do not answer their phones today. Lenders don't answer their phones. They may answer a text 3, 5, 6 hours later or the next day. Drives me insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, just say something. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you when I'm done. So that alone, hearing you say that sets you apart as a champion. And the fact that you follow up and you have a consistent schedule with putting your family first, that's all the more reason to send you business, because a busy person is who you want to send business to.
Right.
Someone that's sitting here and doesn't have a schedule, doesn't know what to do all day, I don't want to send business to that person. I want to send it to a busy person because I know you'll make it happen and you'll take good care of people. So does that sound about right?
I think so. If I'm not busy, I'm going to get busy. I like to stay busy. I mean, we're always moving. We're always doing something. And, that's what makes it fun about this business.
Yeah.
Always learning, or always exploring new options and getting involved with our community. It's a fun business. Always changing.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? Speaking of always changing, I get asked multiple times a day, "John, is now a good time to buy?"
Famous question.
Do you get asked that?
Yes.
What do you respond? How do you respond to that?
You know what? I will tell them that interest rates are always going to fluctuate.
Yeah.
They're always, the best time is when you're ready. When you're ready. You have to, that's a question you have to evaluate for yourself. How long have you been at your job? Are you financially at the position? And you just go down the line with that. And I think that's the biggest thing, is when they're ready.
Bingo. That's how I answer it too. When you are financially ready, and that's the house you want. Because people will, they start looking before they even know what they qualify, right? Mm-hmm. Zillows, they're online. People are online before they talk to you and I generally. And they're looking and seeing. And you know what? Some people have this misconception. If I wait for the rates to drop,
Right.
like drop considerably, maybe another half a point, even a point, that's the time to jump into the market. And what they don't realize, everybody else is waiting for that too. A lot of competition.
Yeah.
Lot of competition. That $700,000-$800,000 house you wanted is now going over asking.
Right.
Now you can't afford that anymore because the max you could afford is here. Everybody else is putting in this. You can't afford the monthly payment anymore. So I try to highlight to people, if you're financially ready, now is the time to do it. And send them to Brittany, and Brittany, take them shopping.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, yeah. I think so too. And I call it like the Black Friday of real estate. Things might, interest rates might drop, like you said, point or whatever it's going to drop. And guess what? Everybody's going to be rushing to that line, and it's going to be you're going to have competitive offers, bidding wars, and so it becomes a lot that much difficult. And so, yeah, I can say enough. It's when you're ready.
Yep. And you know what? We were in a time where, maybe the sellers felt the need to offer concessions or credits. When we start going, and maybe a few still do or whatever, I'm not seeing it very often right now. I'm not seeing it, especially in this area, in Riverside, San Diego. I'm seeing it with my Texas realtors. They're still getting up to 6% concessions back. But not here in California. It seems like it's very rare if that does happen. And that's telling me that sellers are saying, I'm getting offers. I don't need to offer you more credits. In fact, I'm going to take the best offer, the highest offer, who's got the best down payment and is not asking me for closing costs and all this other stuff. But does it necessarily mean that we shouldn't ask for it, or at least feel it out and say, is this a good scenario to maybe ask for some concessions back to help the buyer out? Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But, well, let's transition to our last question here. There's a lot of realtors that I speak with that are not sure how to move forward. We're in a new year, 2025. 2024 was an okay year for some of my partners. Some, it was a really good year. But, they're trying to figure out, what do I need to do to be successful? Or if they've been in the business a long time, to stay successful. What advice would you have to perhaps a newer realtor who's just getting into the business, been in it for maybe a year or two or a couple years, and they're just trying to figure out, is this for me? What advice would you have for them to be successful?
I think it would be follow what you're good at. If you're good with phone calls, do it. If you're good door knocking, do it. If you're good with people, you have to really self-evaluate and tell yourself, is this my strength? I heard somebody once say, don't try to fix what you're not good at, strengthen what you're good at, and move forward with that. So that's probably the best advice I could get.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good. And I loved some of your other comments there too. Stay consistent, know your why, be intentional about your day. We all have 24 hours in it. We can't squeeze any more out, although we try sometimes. We have our family. That's our priority. But, what are we doing with our work time? When we dedicate work, sometimes this can be a distraction.
Right.
Because we all get messages on here. There's social media. And next thing you find yourself scrolling because you're trying to either like or comment on things and be supportive of, like in my case, my realtor partners. But that can be time consuming. Next thing you know, an hour's gone by and you're like, oh my goodness, I haven't really posted or done anything productive. I just kind of got caught scrolling.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens, right? And sometimes it's like like my wife calls it, I need a little screen time. Like, okay, I get it. She wants to catch up with friends and do this and look for recipes and gardening and stuff like that. But what are we doing intentional about our day, every day? Are we staying in a good routine that's making progress and helping us get business? Or are we spinning our wheels and doing non-productive things that do not help other families and ultimately don't provide for our family? And that's where I've kind of had to be successful in our business. I only have so much time, but I have, many realtor partners licensed in Florida, Texas. We're licensed in Arizona and, of course, California. And I have to spend my time with the ones that really want to progress and want to grow for me to be successful. Because if I spread myself out too thin and I'm spending time with this person that's just dragging their feet, I'm not going to help them be successful, and then I become unsuccessful.
You have to help people who want to be helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have the mindset of a champion. You're a winner. You want to help other people. You answer your phone. Those are all traits of a champion. And Brittany is so grateful, to use your word from earlier, that you joined our podcast this morning. And I look forward to sending you more referrals. I look forward to doing business with you that really benefits your community. I look forward to meeting your brokers, and sounds like you have an amazing shop.
I do. I do. I'm really grateful. Yeah, I do. Well, thank you for having me. It's been so much fun. I've had a great time. So I really appreciate being here.
Good. Well, let's go help some families together.
Yes, let's do that. Let's make some homes, make some sales, make it happen.
Love it. Love it.